Hey, what's up, guys? It's Brad, and today I want to talk about modern art and what really the truth is behind a lot of modern art, which is coming to light now. If you're following my content, check out my blog. I've got this new Pizzagate article that I've been working on for like 2 days going up there. It's very in depth, and I'm going to continually update it just like I do with my product and my other articles. I just write one base one and then just continuously make it better, with better information, better aesthetics, and more simple to use. So that's my philosophy with my product and my blog. So check that out soon. But with modern art, anybody who's visited a modern art museum, like I want to tell you one particular example of this that I remember from my childhood. I remember going with my mom to see this modern art exhibit at the Guggenheim Museum, which also has ties to Marina Abramovich, or whatever the fuck her name is, the spirit cooking, devil worshipping, narcissistic pedophile that has ties to John Podesta and Hillary Clinton and all these Hollywood elite parties where she does spirit cooking, where she mixes semen, blood, breast milk. She instructs you to cut your hand, and there are a lot of kids there mysteriously, and it goes on in basements and dungeons, and it's very creepy shit. You know, she has events there too, but I digress. There's an event that I went to when I was a kid called the Cremaster by Matthew Barney, and I actually was brought there with my family. I don't think that my family knew the deeper meanings behind this modern art shit, but you know, whenever I would go and look at modern art, I'm just gonna say this real quick, I would always notice that it was dark, empty, creepy, and weird, or childish. Like, they would literally, if you go to a Museum of Modern Art in the city, Manhattan, they have literally rooms of it's a fucking, what do they call it, a canvas with a square or a circle on it with one color, and people are like, wow, that's so, they're breaking boundaries down, dude. And I'm just like, no. Whereas if you go to the Museum of Natural History or any other legit art museum, you see, you know, beautiful portraits like the Mona Lisa and things from the Renaissance era, of art. It's like comparing classical music with an orchestra to you know, some shitty punk music or some shitty you know, modern day rap music where everything is auto-tuned and everything sounds the same. There's no lyricism. There's nothing going on. And compared to the classical orchestral music, which has, you know, counter melodies and, you know, 70 different instruments playing simultaneously and polyrhythms, and it's beautiful and high vibrational music that gets you closer to God. You just feel amazing. Whereas the shit they talk about today, this is an actual song, I'm just gonna sing it. Like, suck a nigga dick or something, suck a nigga dick or something, suck a nigga dick or something. And, you know, you just see the hordes of sheep just all going to the club like, yeah, suck a nigga dick or something. I mean, how far are we fallen? They don't even know what they're doing. So I bring it back to this fucking thing that I went to with my mom. I actually think my whole family was there. It was super inappropriate for young kids. Matthew Barney Cremaster, Cremaster, and it was so disturbing to me at a young age, and I actually think my whole family was pretty disturbed by it, to be honest with you. That I looked it up, and I found out that Cremaster means it's like a muscle in the penis or something that controls I don't know, it controls the flow of urine or something. It was some weird shit. And we went there, and it's the Guggenheim, and, you know, they just let kids go into this. Like, I have no idea, because there's sex, there's murder, there's blood, it's just creepy. It's this spiral staircase, if you've ever been to the Guggenheim Museum, where you spiral upwards, and everything's all white, and they have these viewing rooms with videos of just, like, it's just weird. Like, that's the main thing with all this art, is it's just weird and soulless and disturbing and scary. Like, I remember just looking at it, I was just like, dude, this is fucking scary. Like, it really makes me very uneasy. And I remember seeing different modern art, and My mom used to collect modern art. She still does, and I always found the modern art to be talentless. Like, it is talentless. Don't make any excuses for modern art. It's shit. It's a joke for the most part. Modern art is a joke. Marina Abramovich is a joke. Compared to taking action, I've actually done painting classes and art classes in my limited time in college because I was trying to find something I liked. I like painting. I like art. I play music. I've been playing music for a long time. Real painting takes skill, like to blend the colors and to know the color wheel and complementary and study great artists and copy their work and their paint strokes and stuff and all the tools. It's not easy. It's not easy at all, and there's a lot of technique to it. But modern art is not that at all. Modern art is like you draw a fucking thing, you take a piss in a cup, you leave the cup next to the thing, and you just do whatever you want. Which kind of lines up with Satanism, where Satanism, the main overall philosophy is do as thou wilt. That's the fucking phrase of Satanism. Do as thou wilt. Do what you want. Do whatever you want. And it'll be celebrated amongst us if you're in the crowd, if you're in the club, and you ain't in it, you know what I'm saying? So it's ridiculous. So anyway, going back to this, you can still look at the, if you want to even Google this, I just have distinct memory of how disturbing this was. Matthew Barney Cremaster, Cremaster. And I just remember growing up seeing these different things with, literally they'll have like naked women and men and they're showing it to kids and there's blood and death and shit and piss and just creepy overall material with creepy statues and so on and so forth. So anyway, fast forward to this maybe March or so. I mean, I'd heard about Pizzagate 3 years ago or so, I think, and I kind of dismissed it because I assumed, like, if it was real, people would be blowing up about it, but that's not the case. It's not that it's not real. It's not that human trafficking and its ties to art are not real. And it's not that corruption doesn't exist. It exists, and it is very real. It's just that most people refuse to accept it because it's so heinous, it's so out in the open, and so many... it follows a formula where they have the media cover for it, they have schools indoctrinate people, and then people are basically, like, totally bought into it. And it's a real shame because this stuff is really gross. Modern art is essentially a cover for human trafficking. That's the truth, okay? It sounds crazy. I don't care. If you like there was some schmuck in my last video, like, you need to do research before you post it. No, I did do the research, and I posted on my blog about it, and you can read the Pizzagate article that I spent maybe 12 hours putting together to make it easy and compelling and fun for you to, not fun, but like easy to look into this. And if it grabs you, it grabs you. If you don't want to read it, I respect that. And I have a lot of other content about, like, fitness and, bodybuilding and picking up women and, getting in shape and having a good mindset and consciousness and all the stuff that I'm into. There's a lot of different topics. You don't have to just go straight into conspiracy. And I'm not trying to be gross or weird or shock you. I just feel a compulsion to put this stuff out there because I just do. So, yeah, there is a huge conspiracy involving spending money on art and art galleries and art events and tying it into human trafficking and Satanism and the occult and worship of this just chaos, just absolute chaos gods and just disgusting shit. So you can see a very clear tie of those two things in the Pizzagate scandal. In the Pizzagate scandal, the depths of which that penetrated our government and it's penetrated our society at large. It's really heinous. So fair warning. But if you think about it, I mean, just look at modern art and look at the examples that you're seeing. There's always something, I mean, I'm sure there are some that are cool and pleasant to look at, but for the most part, Most modern art is very creepy, and it is really expensive. Have you ever wondered why? Like, why is it that these talentless nobodies who make art that is not pleasing to the eye, it's disturbing, are so, they're so rich? I mean, something's off there, man. Like, there are very, very talented artists out there that are starving. But then people that make art where they're, imagery of raping children and cutting heads off chickens and just disturbed, distorted artwork, supposedly, they just do so well. They just do so well. They're millionaires, and they're applauded by the elite levels of elite politicians are attending their events. High level art collectors are giving them millions of dollars, and their work is being displayed as if it's some amazing shit. No. It actually goes deeper than that. Art very often is a cover for two things. I would say the first thing is that it's a cover for normalization of degenerate behavior in the occult. Because, think about it, they have a cover to just like, they have say they, make some woman makes a picture of some kid being raped, pedophilia, right? Or a kid being eaten. Well, they could just say, well, oh, that's just art. That's just art. That's not a problem. Well, it's not just art. It's a conditioning process known as normalization. There's a very real psychological principle called normalization where, look outside right now. It's October 17th, 2020. I'm in Brooklyn, New York. And frankly, I see a lot of people walking around with a face mask on for a virus that has a survival rate that's almost 100%. But they're so normalized to wear the mask. They have other people wearing the mask. They have other minders in stores telling people to wear the mask, that they wear the mask because it's normal now. So art and, video and all this shit, it's a part of a normalization of weird, bizarre behavior that's not okay. There's no situation where murdering an innocent child is okay. There's no situation where murdering or raping or doing any serious high-level crime is okay that hurts other people. Yet in Artland, oh, it's just art. Oh, it's just art. You see the Bohemian Grove ceremonies where high-level politicians and Hollywood elites go to this, and this is on Wikipedia. So for those of you that are like, did you do your research? I did my research. Did you do your research? You didn't. So do your research and don't blame me for the fact that I'm just trying to expose this. Bohemian Grove, you have people doing occultist druid rituals out in the open, and it looks like an art show. Oh, it's so edgy. It's pushing the edge of what we find acceptable. You're goddamn right about that. And it's through a process of normalization. There's a process that they do in the Bohemian Grove where they do an act called the cremation of care. That is a satanic Luciferian ritual, I believe, where they take a human body and they burn it, and they sacrifice it to the god Moloch, or Baal, or Satan, or Lucifer, or whatever you want to call it. It's some bullshit, gay-ass fucking bullshit. Anybody that worships a god where you have to burn a baby alive, you're a faggot, just like me, so you can't ban me because I'm gay too, and I'm a transgender, and I'm black. So, but seriously, they're fags. That's ridiculous. That's your god? That's who you worship? You need to burn a baby alive? You need to engage in pedophilia and literally rape babies. It's like a big joke. It's like they find it so funny, and it's all involved in these art museums and this artwork that goes on. In my article, you can check this out. I've linked several different artists that, if this is art, just fucking shoot me in the head. Because look, man, I believe in the freedom of speech, but, the shit that they're pushing is disgusting, and it disturbs me how many people buy this shit. Like, and the high levels of government, and they're all like involved. Like Tony Podesta's artwork collection, that's a big one, okay? The Podestas. Let's talk about John Podesta for a second. John Podesta was the chief of staff for Hillary Clinton. He essentially ran her campaigns behind the scenes or whatever. You know, he was just like her right-hand man or something like that. His brother Tony is a lobbyist for Washington, meaning that he this is ridiculous, this is even like a term. A lobbyist is someone that basically represents a big corporation or a funder that pays off your politicians and your people in Congress and Senate and all these people. They literally wine dine them, give them money, take them to Epstein Island, whatever, in exchange for preferential treatment in the litigation process or whatever, passing laws, so they get more profit or they get more benefit from that person in political power. And literally, that's what his on Wikipedia title is. I mean, it's a crime. It's ridiculous. I mean, we should not stand for that shit as the people that live here, that work for a living, that produce content for a living. Some fat degenerate fuck that's a pedophile can pay off some state senator so he can get legislation to continue his criminal activities is insane. Anyway, this guy, Tony, is a big-time art collector. So is Hillary Clinton. So is, I was going to say Eric Holder, but I haven't seen many photos of that, and I don't want to mislead you. Hillary Clinton's a big-time art collector. There was just a video of her the other day on her new podcast, that this bitch somehow has a fucking podcast after what she's done. It's just mind-blowing. On her table, there's a book, I forget the name of the artist, but go look this up. Hillary Clinton's podcast, Satanic Book, on her table. Just go Google it. You can just take 2 seconds. If you're doubting what I'm saying, go do your own fucking research. You can tell me I'm wrong, and if I am, I will redact my statements and make a correction. That's called being a responsible reporter, being a responsible human being. You don't want to pass on bad info, but I know what I saw, and I know what other people saw. In that book, there's images of devils raping little kids, raping women, raping each other, just degenerate shit. And it's a little weird that the President of the United States would be into that type of shit. Frankly, I would prefer if the President of my country was into, like, you know, just the ins and outs of law and the ins and outs of helping people and government and just really straight shooting type stuff. I don't think that's really acceptable for the potential presidential, you know, she was a presidential candidate. She's been the first lady of the country to have books about satanic ritual on her bookshelf for all to see. I think that's a bit ridiculous. I think it's also ridiculous that she had parties in the basement of, she has ties to going to degenerate parties with Podesta in Comet Ping Pong Pizza. And if you look at James Alefantis, the owner of Ping Pong Pizza, Base Fishing and Hunting, which is a few blocks away, and then Besta Pizza with the fucking logo of pedophilia a few blocks. I mean, there's just all these businesses tied in that small area that are all, they all either have pedophile related logos or whatever, they're involved with art. It's so weird, and it's just so unbelievable that you can't even, it's black magic. I mean, they're doing the most unspeakable crimes in your face, in my face, and we're just like, oh, Hillary Clinton's such a brave woman. No, she's not. None of these people are brave. They're sick, fucked up people that are involved with very dark shit behind the scenes that you just can't even imagine, but it's going to come out soon, hopefully. Giuliani's got Hunter Biden's hard drive, and they recently apparently just put a FBI agent who's in charge of child porn on the case, who deals in child porn. They put them on this case, and based on the way that Giuliani and different people who have seen the contents of the drive are talking about it, it's pretty heinous shit. I mean, same thing as on Anthony Weiner's laptop. Heinous shit. Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein. These people, they're all art collectors. They're involved with this thing called art. I'm telling you, like, just do your own research on this, or just use this as like a jumping off point. I have a great article coming out with Pizzagate. Lots of photos, lots of emails, lots of evidence that's backed up by government websites and credible news sources. So you could just go look at that if you want. I often find that people that demand a lot of evidence are they're just idiots. Okay, they're like, it's October 17, 2020. If you still think that Joe Biden is a good candidate for president, and you demand more evidence, and then you come around and say that Trump is somehow worse than Biden, and then you tell me that you need more evidence from me, you're an idiot, not me. I'm the one that does the reading. I don't watch TV. I don't fuck around with my time. I do my best to be as productive as possible, and this is a big deal. So you're the one that needs to do the research, not me. I do my best to present it. So I know most of you are not like that, but there was a guy, there's always a few people that say shit like that. It's just so stupid. Anyways, point I want to make is that art is a cover to normalize satanic, occultist, bizarro world, pedophilia, human sacrifice, chaos magic to normal people. In the same way that colleges are an indoctrination camp for young people to start to believe in communism. Would you have believed if I told you 10 years ago that the vast, like 60% of people under 20 believe that communism's a fucking good idea? I don't think I would believe it. I mean, I probably would have looked it up and seen that you have books written like the Gulag Archipelago, which Jordan Peterson talks about a lot, which documents the unbelievable scale of death that's occurred in the Soviet Union run by communist ideas. You have the Holocaust, and I see these Jews that are talking about how sweet socialism is. The Nazi Party was the National Socialist Party. So essentially, whenever they say socialist, they mean communism. They mean there's one guy at the top who's the dictator, who gets all the wealth, and then below that you have the peasants, and then there's a lot of death when everything goes to shit because it's not a sustainable way to run a country or a business or anything. No, you need decentralized command. You're better at some stuff than me, and we work together to improve the world and improve the business. That's it. That's the way that it needs to be. That's what Trump is trying to be doing, I hope, and that's what a good business looks like. You have a director of marketing, you have an accountant, you have a lawyer, you have a CEO who oversees the whole thing, you have a manager who makes sure everybody's doing their job, you have a salesman. People that are together lifting each other up so they can all make more money, and they have a common goal, which is hopefully producing a product or a service or something that's going to make your life better. That's business. That should be what running a country is like. It shouldn't be like individuals trying to enrich themselves and fuck over the general population. You know, I mean, you have people like Nancy Pelosi and Schumer who are literally trying to argue that they want to have, they want to get mail-in ballots so that they can steal the election, clearly, because who's going to vote for Joe Biden after the emails that are coming out? I mean, again, the mental illness of the left, because of this normalization process that I'm talking about, is scary. They'll probably release videos of, I mean, they've already released emails of Hunter Biden doing pay-for-play, setting up deals to connect Joe Biden, the vice president under Obama, I believe for 2 terms, 8 years, with corrupt gangsters from foreign governments. I mean, that's open and shut. That guy should be hanging. The whole family, everyone. And then they paid. Just look at Rudy Giuliani's videos of this, breaking it down. Rudy Giuliani was the guy that cleaned up New York after years of Democrat, fucking governance that ran it right into the goddamn ground. I mean, literally. And then he fixed it very quickly. And then we have Democrats back in, and they ran it right into the ground. predictably. Now they're making their big move globally. There's a great... So Giuliani really breaks that down nicely, how it all worked out. All these people are involved with this criminal activity. I mean, it's criminal activity. They're involved with human trafficking. They're involved with, shipping. In other words, human trafficking means that you're buying and selling human beings as slaves. Human trafficking is a nice way of putting it. You think about traffic, oh, you're on the road. No, dude, this is modern day slavery. You're literally buying and selling human beings, children, women. You're beating, abusing them. You're selling their organs. You're raping them. You're making them slaves. It's a huge industry. It's the biggest industry in the world, and art is a cover for it. What goes? I actually have spoken to a few people about this. This is 100% real. What is hidden from the general public is this, and I really hope, I have faith that most people, I really think, actually, I could be wrong, but I do think most people are not okay with this. Like, they're not actually all right with the idea of actually shipping. It's okay to joke about it. There are some people that have dark senses of humor. I have a pretty dark sense of humor. I have friends that do too. But the idea of actually shipping and selling human beings to be raped and have their organs removed, and children, all the way down, and bestiality, and as low as it gets. Look at the Pizzagate article. You will see the type of art that I'm talking about. We're talking about depictions of murder, rape, bestiality, torture, chimera human beings mixed with the genetics of different animals. I mean, there's some really sick shit out there, dude. Modern art is very fucking weird. There's a guy on Instagram I follow, Joan, something Joan, whatever his fucking name is. And his art, I kind of liked it in the past in a dark humor kind of way. But, like, looking at it now, it's very, very dark and degenerate and creepy. And people don't realize the motivation for it, like the influence that pushed you to make that art. Like, the world doesn't... We don't really need more darkness. We need to understand it and remember it and never forget it and have it there preserved so that we can remember this moment in history of just insane corruption globally, where the governments, the people that are in charge, are actually conspiring to totally fuck you over, depopulate the planet, just like all this crazy shit. And we could preserve it in that art, we could preserve it in the documents, and we could preserve it in the books, and not ban speech, not ban any of that ever again. Free thought, free access to information, complete freedom. And that's the hope, is that we have complete access to all this stuff in the future, so we never let it happen again. It just blows my mind that this stuff is still going on. I think it blows a lot of people's minds. I think most people just don't even want to allow themselves to go there, to think that, your neighbor or someone, I mean, God forbid, but, like, seriously, there's a lot of this stuff that goes on. For me, a big thing was, like, Judaism. Learning about the Talmud and some of the teachings in Judaism that I don't agree with at all, about human sacrifice and the way they view Goyim, or Gentiles, or people that are not Jewish. The Jews are the chosen people, so they should rule the world, or something like that. That's sort of the implication of some of the teachings that I've learned. And most Jews don't subscribe to that, but to be influenced by it in any way is wrong. I believe it's not that way. It's about empowering everyone. Everyone is the same, and everyone should have a fair shot at pursuing happiness. And that's the way that it needs to be. Decentralized. We're all in this shit together, and we all need to lift each other up. It's not about having power over another human being. That's not cool. We need law and order. So if somebody steps out of line and is a psychopath or a degenerate human being, we got to be like, hey, What's up with you, dude? Like, why are you acting all crazy? Why are you painting pictures of, Rottweiler dogs foaming at the mouth inside some medical operating type room with like dentist chairs and steel restraints? What the fuck is that? Like, that's the type of art that Hillary Clinton and John Podesta collect. They collect art with children with their arms tied behind their back in white underwear and red shoes, restrained with red spanked asses, spanked bottoms. That's probably what they call it. And they have this fearful look in their face. What's up with that? Like, I mean, I really want to know why do you have that art? Is that art? Because another thing that I've learned about art is that art imitates life. Did that happen? I mean, and why do you have it? That's weird shit. Why would you have that in your house? Tony and John Podesta have that art in their fucking house. Hillary Clinton has art like that in her house. That is weird. Like, hey, normally I'm very much like leave people alone and stuff, but based on what I've seen recently and the crimes they've committed and gotten away with, I'm really curious. Why do you have that in your house? Did you do that? Do you know people who have done that? Are you even going to tell me the truth? I think you need to be, like, properly questioned about this, because you just seem to get away with all types of suspect shit. I mean, when I smoke a little weed and I go in my car and a police guy pulls me over and I smell like weed, he's going to pull me out of the car and say, "You smell like weed, can I check your car?" And, I mean, that's why those rules are there. So why is it that people can make art about raping babies, murdering kids, torturing people, just bizarre, all types of occultic, satanic shit, and nobody's ever like, hey, what the fuck is up with that? Why is Marina Abramovich still able to host events? Have you seen Spirit Cooking? Do you know what that is? Let me just explain it to you very quickly. And this is art. This is high-class art. You have Jay-Z going there. You have Hollywood elites going there. You have high-level politicians going there, like Bill Clinton. Why is there a picture of Bill Clinton, a painting of Bill Clinton in a blue dress and red shoes again, which is another point you should look up, why all these people have red shoes on? It's because the shoes are made of children flesh. It's children leather. It's true. But because you look at any of these pictures, they all have red shoes on. So anyway, it's absolutely, it's just unbelievable. It just makes you really, really angry if you really start thinking about it. But again, all these people have this stuff. I mean, what the hell? Marina Abramovich, that was the point I was making there. I'm sorry. She literally has these dinners where, let's talk about Spirit Cooking first real quick. She mixes together blood, semen, breast milk, and just bodily fluids, right? Urine or something. And then she paints the wall with it, and she throws it on a mannequin of a baby, and, she's doing all this other weird shit. She'll do that. She'll have the sign up there, the occultist shit, like plunge a knife into your hand, into the third finger, and eat the pain, and then eat it. And then, you have Obama with a fucking, he's there in Comet Ping Pong with a Band-Aid there, and Podesta with the thing there, and then his hands are all crooked from probably going to a lot of those events. And then in his emails on WikiLeaks, he's there talking about going to Spirit Cooking art events. It's just sick shit, dude. Like, it's just absolutely just beyond guilt. I mean, there's no excuse for it. It's beyond sus. It's so sus. Wow. Some of her other great art exhibits are like her fucking carving up a human cake. Like, just carving up a cake that looks exactly like a woman, and the inside of the cake is red. And there's other pictures, and again, this is the public stuff. I've also there have been some. I'm amazed that this shit hasn't been released. Like, there's got to be videos of this. I don't know why they're not out, but there's a picture. There's a couple of them of some guy that literally is like a. It looks like a cadaver. It really looks like a cadaver that's been roasted like a turkey, and there's kids tied to a seat. Although I don't think this is art. I think this is their real, actual cannibalistic ritual. This is different. That's why I'm saying art, life, it's sort of like a thin veil of a dimension where they're normalizing it, and then they're really doing it, and probably far, far worse than what they are depicting in the art. So, I mean, it's just like absolute destruction, sickness, mental illness, programming of chaos, worshiping a chaos god, wanting nothing but just destruction of the world. I mean, these people are very, very sick people. And modern art is just absolutely a cover. I challenge you to just go look at some modern art right now and not have a feeling of being uncomfortable or thinking it's satanic or tied to the occult in some way. And if you honestly come back and you're like, I loved it, I'll be like, okay. I mean, it's America. You can certainly feel that way, but I think that you're lying to yourself. There's no excuse for some of the artwork that's out there, and the artists not be investigated. I mean, I've been really mad in my life, and I've drawn pictures of fiery burning hell and killing people and stuff in war. Yeah, I've done that for sure. But if you saw like some kid drawing pictures of like, just murder and death and raping people, you might get called into the guidance counselor's office. But these people, they just do it out in the open. Woo! The new school, FIT, all those people are freaks, man. Every time I walk past that school and I see some fat lesbian, and I'm a fat lesbian, homosexual black man with hooves, and I'm looking forward to medically blinding myself, so I've got more minority points than you. Can't say shit. No, seriously, I see her come out with the green hair, and she's like a fat lesbian, and she's like wearing a thong out in public. She's got her tits out, walking down the street like it's nothing. I'm like, something wrong with that girl. That girl, wow, I don't know what's going on with her. She smells. She's hanging out with homeless people. I'm like, dude, what's going on with that? She's learning about modern art. FIT, they're learning about modern art. Fashion. What the fuck is fashion? You ever see a catwalk with the fashion guys they have there? They look like twink gay guys. They're pale, malnourished. They're wearing like skirts, and like they've got one horn coming out of the fucking ear or something. They've got a colostomy bag sticking out of them, and they're just like, bravo, that is such high style. Actually, that's some weird shit, dude. That's some occultist satanic ritual. You're making ugliness this thing, you're putting it out there, and you're just like, woohoo, that's amazing. No. If there's gonna be somebody on stage, make them beautiful, and have them really work on the music to have it be something beautiful and gripping and interesting, not something that's gross and creepy and ugh. All of it is just like, oh god. I mean, transgender people, dude, man, like, it's just, you ever really hang around those people? I mean, it's cool. I'm not saying like you can't do art or you can't be a transgender, you can't be into fashion, but dude, like, really, it's pretty weird, and it makes you feel icky. It makes people feel icky. Sure, some people like it. That's their prerogative for sure. But I'm not gonna be like handing my kid over to it and normalizing it. I'm like, that person's mentally ill. Okay, like, that's a man that's been gaslighted for his whole life. He's taken too many vaccines, drank too much fluoride water, and now he literally thinks he's a girl. And he was gaslighted enough to actually take shots to influence his hormone levels, and now he's just fucked. I mean, that's not normal, that's not healthy. Just like doing this artwork is not healthy, or going to those events. Weird shit. Having sex with children is not okay. You're taking their innocence. Hurting people that are innocent is not okay. That's called a criminal thug, and that's not okay. picking on an old person to do that, or anybody, is not okay, man. People deserve to feel safe and enjoy their lives, and it does tie back into the art thing. So that's just what I felt like saying. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna have that Pizzagate article up in, probably by tonight will be the first draft, or tomorrow morning. It is quite a bit of work, so but I am chipping away at it. There's a lot of really good articles on prepping, on fighting, on all that stuff on the blog for free, and I'm going to keep pushing, keep working at it, and so on and so forth. If you want to support me and my work, I definitely would appreciate it, because they're probably going to censor me. Go to bradholiday.com, email me, brad.holiday1@gmail.com, and I'll hook you up with my my product for $150. You get unlimited text support, so you can text me at any time. I will get back to you as soon as I can and offer support for it. I also update the product very frequently, and there's about 300 gigs of really great content on it. No bad reviews. Everyone loves it. That's it. All right. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Hope you guys have a great day. Later.